Hi, my name is Tim Battagliese, and this is my life design POL. More than just a grade. To be honest, for a long time, I didn't really get the point of school. I did the work and I cared about my grades because I wanted to make my family proud, but it felt like a lot like that video we watched in class about the girl who just completely checked out. She felt like school was a waste of time and didn't relate to her real life at all. We talked about this idea of the Prussian system, this old way of doing school where everyone is taught to follow the same rules and become the same kind of worker. I think a lot of us feel that way sometimes because we're just another person in the system. But this year, in life design, my perspective actually changed. I realized that if I kept waiting for school to give me a purpose, I might be waiting forever. I had to start using school as a tool to build the life I actually wanted to live. My Project Mountain Woodworks wasn't just an assignment for me. It was a chance to prove myself that I could take something I love, which is woodworking, and turn it into something real. I co-founded this business with my friends Max and John, and today I want to walk you through how we went from a simple idea to a professional business and what that taught about me, about who I am. Before I get into the woodshop stuff, I have to talk about how I even figured out this was the right path. So one of the biggest things we did this year was the Myers-Briggs personality test. I found out that I'm an ISTJ, which they call a logistician. At this time, when I read that ISTJs are the backbone of society and they love rules and order, I thought, okay, that sounds a little intense. But then I started thinking about my life outside of school and realized that I like creating order out of chaos. So actually I'm a huge mountain biker and I race XC. I've been working toward becoming a mechanic in my bike shop. So when you're fixing a bike, you can't just wing it. You have to be meticulous about everything. You have to follow a logical process where the gears aren't going to shift and the brakes aren't going to work. And that's the ISTJ in me. I realized that this is exactly why I love woodworking. You start with a raw, rough piece of wood that doesn't look like much, and through a clear, disciplined process, you turn into something beautiful and functional. So woodworking isn't just a hobby for me. It's where my personality type and my passions actually meet. My original plan for this project was actually pretty different. I wanted to build a canoe-style bookshelf for my parents. I was really interested in the technical side of things, especially wood bending, and I spent a lot of time conferencing with Mr. Daly and emailing Mr. Campbell in the wood shop to see if this was possible. But as I got further into the planning, I had a moment where I realized I was being too teacher-centered. I was just trying to finish a project for a grade. I asked myself, what if I did something that actually helped me learn how the real world works? That's when the idea for Mountain Woodworks was born. I didn't just make one bookshelf, I wanted to build a brand. If you ever spent 4 hours straight sanding a single piece of wood, it's hard to describe the level of persistence that requires. Between the three of us, we put in over 100 hours of manual labor. This wasn't just messing around the shop, we had to research the best types of wood for food safety, learn how to join pieces together so they wouldn't warp, and figure out how to get that perfect professional finish. But the physical building was only half the battle. Because we wanted this to be a real business, we had to build a digital footprint. We launched an official Instagram page and an Etsy account. This is a huge step for me because it meant our work was out there for the world to see, not just our teachers. Working as a team also taught me a lot about leadership. Since John isn't in the life design program, we had to keep him in the loop and coordinate our schedules. We had to divide responsibilities, who was doing the physical builds, who was managing the social media, and who was handling the logistics. It felt different than normal schoolwork because we were the ones driving it. Everything we worked for came together on exhibition night. I'll be honest, I was nervous. In my earlier notes I mentioned that I usually find presenting a little wavering, and I'd rather just take a test because it was easier. But standing at our table at night felt different. We didn't just have the random papers lying around, we had a professional setup. We had our boards on display, our Instagram pulled up, and we knew exactly what we were talking about. We weren't just students that night, we were business owners. The response was honestly amazing. We had over 5 people ask us for custom builds right there on the spot. We ended up getting a 95 on the project, but the real win was seeing that people valued what we created. Looking back, this project helped me develop the habits of mind we talked about in class, specifically persistence and taking responsible risks. I learned that I don't have to be perfect the first time, but I have to be disciplined. I see the same thing in mountain biking. If I wipe out on a trail, I don't just leave my bike there and walk home. I get up, check the bike, and keep going. Woodworking is the same. If a piece of wood splits or a design doesn't go perfectly, you don't quit. You find a way to fix it. and that's a mechanics mindset I've been developing in the bike shop, and something I want to carry into my career. So my purpose inventory really hammered this home for me. My main motivators are my family and my desire to be successful in the trade. I want to make my parents proud, and I want to be known as someone who does high quality work. I've realized that I'm happiest when I'm doing something that requires both precision and creativity. So what's next? This project has made my path after 11th grade a lot clearer. I'm not just guessing anymore. I know I want to pursue a career where I can build things, whether that's through carpentry school, architecture, or engineering. I've learned that school doesn't have to be a Prussian system where I'm just a number. It can be a place where I build the skills I need for the life I want. I'm moving away from the idea that I'm just doing school for a grade, and I'm building a life filled with craftsmanship and family pride. So Mountain Woodwork started as just an idea in a journal, but it turned into a realization that I'm the one who writes my story. I'm the one who decides how much effort to put in and where I want to go. I'm not just finishing a project today, I'm building a path for my future.